Guys, we have been discussing about the terminology used in research in terms of population and sample. And we discussed that population is actually the entire mass of our observation, right? And that's the group of every individual, every member to whom we would like to generalize our results of the study, right? And we discussed that it's not possible to include every individual, every member of of a group, right? And if we are working on inanimate objects, then it's not possible to include every possible population. So we go for sampling. Now, the techniques which are used for the selection of sample, these are called sampling paradigms or sampling techniques, right? So basically, there are two types of sampling paradigms, although it's totally up to the nature of study designed and selected by researchers, that how the sampling techniques should be and what sample or what size of the sample should be taken for testing the hypothesis. But if at a broader level, there are two types of paradigms which are to be discussed in this session. And these are two major types of sampling paradigms which are used in researchers to collect data, to gather data, and then to complete the research studies. So number one is information-rich paradigm. As it is clear from the phrase, from the name of this paradigm, that it is a paradigm which is based on the information, right? So the first one is information-rich paradigm, and the second is representative sampling paradigm, right? So the second one is basically more concerned with the representation, right? So the representation is the focus of the second paradigm, and the first one is based on information. So very simply, the first paradigm, which is the information-rich paradigm, is a paradigm through which we can collect, we can sample, and that is purely based on the information, the in-depth information which is required for the completion of the study. And the second paradigm is basically the paradigm which is more concerned with the representation of a particular population, right? Because in some studies we need to go for the detail of the in-depth examination of a particular phenomena, but in other cases we would like to cover as maximum of the population as possible. And in this case, we focus on more on the representation, right? And that representation is really important. So these two are the the broader level divisions of sampling techniques. One is the information-rich paradigm, and the second one is this the representation sampling paradigm, right? The point is that how and why the samples are chosen. Right. So in order to answer this question, for the first paradigm, which is information-rich paradigm, remember that we want to uncover a maximum of the information. Right. We are more concerned with the views and reviews and feelings and emotions. Maybe the nature of the study is that we need maximum information. We would like to uncover the information within our phenomena under study, right? And we want to go for an in-depth analysis, right? That in-depth examination or analysis is basically required, and it is the paradigm which is mainly used in qualitative studies, right? Qualitative studies, when we are concerned with a phenomena holistically, right? So in qualitative studies, we go for this information-rich paradigm. We are concerned with views, feelings, and with holistic perspective of the study, right? And it is, most of the time, it is used for small size of samples, right? Because the size of sample is small, but the level of information is in depth, right? So that includes small size of samples. And remember that there is one problem with this information-rich paradigm, that this is less generalizable, right? It is authentic, it is reliable, it's valid, but it is very less generalizable. And I think that's the case with every qualitative study, right? And then we have this representative sampling paradigm. This paradigm is used in large-scale studies, right? When international, multinational companies and associations and organizations, when they would like to go for research, they definitely chose this, a representative sampling paradigm, right? Because representative sampling paradigm is based on the realistic representation of a larger group, right? It is mostly used in researches related to psychology and behavior, right? And it is for larger groups because the point is, within this sampling paradigm, our focus is on, generalizing the results. Because we are more concerned with the representation, we would like to generalize the study, right? So that's why this representative sampling paradigm is important, and it is used for large-scale studies, right? Large-scale studies, like we would like to go for a larger studies, and for that purpose, we need, this representative sampling paradigm. And like one tool which is used for such a study is the questionnaire. When the questionnaire is sent to, let's say, thousands of people, right? Because thousands of people maybe, since it's used for a large size studies, so the representation is important. And for their purpose, the rule is that the more is the size of the sample, the better it is, right? So these two are basically the sampling paradigms used in social sciences researches.